Well, with me now is Abhishek Deshpande, who is oil markets analyst at Natixis. Welcome to the programme. Do you feel that now we have entered a new era for oil prices, that although, of course, there's a shock associated with this drop, actually we shouldn't expect them to go up anytime soon?
It is a new era because we have seen from the new strategy that came up from OPEC members, where they decided not to cut back production in order to make sure that all OPEC members comply, as well as non-OPEC producers such as US and Russia, which produce as much as Saudi Arabia, should also scale back. So it is almost a new era where countries need to scale back together if they want to really balance the markets. So in the short term, yes, we could see prices going down closer to 40 levels that we saw in 2009.
And of course, the political tension between OPEC and non-OPEC producing nations is playing a large role here.
Absolutely. I mean, over here, we can easily see that Saudi Arabia, even though they decided not to scale back, it was clearly an indication where they wanted to test the mettle of a couple of non-OPEC producers here, particularly if you look at US, which has increased its production of shale oil, is of course threatening Saudi Arabia's dominance in the oil producing world, and it wanted to test at what level will that industry be hurt. Equally, even Russian production Russia has been producing year-on-year over 0.7% growth, and it wants that even countries like Russia should scale back if oil production is outpacing in terms of growth compared to demand.
We've pointed to the gap between supply and demand, that is that the supply outstrips demand at the moment, and that's why the price is falling. Looking at it, this has actually been going on for some time.
Well, that's true, but what has changed is the excess supply. In fact, the gap between the growth in demand versus growth in supply has increased even more because, one, on the demand side, we have seen weakening of demand. Revisions have been made by IEA continuously last year because of low weakness coming from Eurozone, weakness coming from OECD countries other than Eurozone. Even China has really not contributed enough to the demand last year.
Do you think that the markets have suddenly clicked onto this? You know, actually that it's been very gradual and very steady, and suddenly the markets became aware of it and woke up?
I guess one thing to keep in mind is that markets are not giving any more importance to geopolitical risks that were in place here, because the oil that was out because of geopolitical risk was almost the same amount of oil that was coming from excess oil. But now the excess oil is way too much. It's almost dampening the impacts coming from geopolitical risks.
Thank you so